Hello. Hi. The topic for today's live is pretend until it's real and to stop being so realistic. If you guys can hear me, please let me know in the chat. Always like to check that. I'm late, Angel. Am I? All right. Nice to see you guys again. Today's topic is pretend until it's real. Stop being realistic. Thank you, Peace. Yes. Okay, good. You guys can hear me over on YouTube. If you can hear me on Instagram, please let me know. Nice to see you guys. All right. So, to get started, while everyone kind of jumps in, as you're coming in, make sure to go ahead and like the video. Help me out. All right. But to begin, there's this really big misconception out there that being realistic is a virtue, that you should be realistic. You should have realistic expectations. You should live in the real world. You should tell it as it is. You should be honest. Okay. And that may seem well and good on the surface, but when it comes to manifesting your dream life, that's a real big impediment. Okay. When you are realistic, when you tell it like it is, when you have realistic expectations, what you do is you replicate the current reality. Okay. So, whatever your current reality is, if you are in the habit of being very realistic, what's going on is that you are going to continue to manifest a very similar reality. All right. And if you have a great reality, that's great. However, even if you have a great reality, there is a problem with being realistic. And the problem is that you are an infinite creator. And one of the aspects of us is that we're always expanding. We're always reaching for more. And so if you continue to be realistic and replicate the same kind of reality, what ends up happening is you end up on a hamster wheel where reality stays the same and you will start to feel stagnant. You will start to feel bored. You will start to feel frustrated with your current reality because it's the same old, same old. All right. So we have to get out of that habit. And so today's topic again is about pretending until it's real. You don't want to be realistic. You want to be a visionary. Okay. So people who go out and manifest really crazy stuff, they are often seen as crazy or delusional or that they're living in a fantasy world. Well, it's that delusional thinking that is precisely what brings into focus the dreams that they want. And so, one way that you can be delusional is just to pretend that you have your dream or that you're accomplishing your dream until it actually happens. And so, in today's live, I have some suggestions for you that you can use and implement to help you pretend that your dream is actually real, help you live in the fantasy in the current moment so that you create the fantasy and you stop creating the same old stuff that's always been real heretofore. Okay, so that's the topic for today's video. As you guys are coming in, if you have any manifesting questions, feel free to go ahead and drop them into the chat and I'll answer as many of those as I can. Hello, YD20. YD, nice to see you over on Instagram. Hello, Tracy is Strong Peace, or Trace's Strong Peace. Hello. On YouTube, a lot of you guys over here. Hi, Adam, Cowlitz Bill, Harish. Oh, you remember from the live. It's pronounced Ho'oponopono. That is much easier. Thank you so much. Hello, Eddie. Hello, Picket Music. My lovely assistant, Mary, is here today. Hi, Mary. Hi, starting at 50. Guillaume, Eddie, DV, Annette, Peace. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up. Again, if you guys got manifesting questions, go ahead and drop them into the chat. I want to give you guys, before I answer a few of these questions, the first technique to pretend until it's real. Again, we want to become more delusional. You want to start to act as if your dream already exists. Okay. So that leads into our first thing, and it has to do with dressing. Okay. You want to dress as if you have your dream. Dress as if you have your dream. This is something I've talked about when it comes to wealth, but it applies to any kind of dream that you have. A lot of people get very stuck in a fashion rut. They have their own particular style and they want to stay with that particular style. But again, when we kind of stick with what we have, we continue to replicate the same kind of thing. So this leads into the idea, if you've ever heard of the phrase dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have, that's where this comes from. When you dress like a person who has what you want, you make it much more likely that you're going to get what you want. So I've got a girlfriend who fits this perfectly. And I talk about her sometimes because she's really good at manifesting wealth and career success. She's a very successful real estate agent in our area. She's one of the top in our county, and she makes a lot of money. And I've seen her career rise. So when I met her, she was pretty good. She was a good real estate agent, but she had a really big meteoric type rise during the time that I've known her. And one thing that I definitely noticed was that before she blew up her career, she like overhauled her wardrobe. Like she had always dressed kind of nice, but she started watching some of those real estate shows. You know, those like $1 million listing type shows. She was watching those, and those people always get so dressed up and fancy. And I think she was inspired by that because I noticed her wardrobe was getting really, really fancy. And during that time period, she had this huge boom in her career because she was dressing like a top agent. Now, I'm not going to say that's all that she was doing, but the dressing definitely plays a big part in whether or not you're going to have success with what you want. So, something that you can do to pretend as if your dream is real, look out at people who have your dream. How do they look? How do they dress? What kind of clothing are they wearing? Are there any particular styles that they are more into? And this doesn't mean you can't put your own slant on things. Okay. You can definitely still have your same essence, but you want to tidy it up. Okay. So you can look at me as an example. If you want to, you can go back and look at some of my earliest videos and see the kind of stuff I was wearing. And between the time that I started this YouTube channel and now, making a lot more money, but you can see that how I dress has changed quite a bit. But I still have kind of the same essence. Okay. So that's kind of what you want to play with is the first thing. Dress to pretend as if it's real. Very simple thing that you can do. Okay. And that's our first technique. All right, let's answer a couple questions real quick. Adam, is renting a house really a waste of money if money is an infinite resource? I'm glad you brought that question up, Adam, because no, there is no such thing as a waste of money. Money is an infinite resource. And with the housing, a lot of times people are taught that like you have to own, there's like a certain way you have to do your finances. You guys have heard this, right? So you have to buy a home, you have to do a 401k, you have to get a trust fund. I don't know. There's all these little things everyone tells you that you're supposed to do. Please understand that those are all limitations that do imply that money is a scarce resource, by the way. All right. So it's not about whether you rent or you buy your home. It's about whether or not you have that perspective that money is an infinite resource. Great point. Eddie asks, Dear Andrea, how might I try to manifest making my son's sound sensitivity go away without mentioning it directly and drawing it toward me? Like my son has normal acceptance of sounds. Thanks. Oh, okay. So if I've dealt not with that, but like if a child has a quote unquote problem, and as the parent, you want that problem to go away. Okay. One thing that happens is that as the parent, my concern about the problem is what is amplifying it. That's an important thing to understand. Okay. So there are versions of your reality where your son doesn't have any of that, and versions of it where he does, and everything in between. Which one you're lining up with depends on how you feel about it. So if your son shows some signs of sound sensitivity and you start to resist it, what you resist persists. Okay. Now, as a parent, you're taught that you should be very concerned about your children. You need to worry about them. But that is actually something that keeps a lot of problems active in your children. It's a much better thing to, when these kinds of things come up, try to be neutral about them. And if you can, try to see them as this is something I'm working through rather than a problem that my child has. It's not a problem that my son has. It's something I have an aversion to that I am drawing into my reality. Because if it's something I have an aversion to, it's something I have control over. It's not something that's going on over here. And that really is what's going on. I've seen this time and time again with my children. The things that I worry about stay active and get worse. The things that I'm like, okay, well, this is what they're going through. It's okay. We'll get through it. No big deal. Those are the things that go away. Okay. So, one way I might look at this is teaching me how to relax a little bit about my son. This is teaching me how to gain more acceptance. My son is probably gaining something that from this experience that I know nothing about. And when we do that, we accept what's going on rather than resist it. When you accept it, what you're saying to the universe is what's going on with my son is okay. Everything's okay. And then reality will shift to show you that it's okay. So the problem will die down. Okay. That's how it works. Starting at 50, I'll take one more, then I'll get back to the topic here. Is it normal to feel spotty with manifestation at first? Like things are going smooth, then all of a sudden spotty results? Yes. Show of hands. How many have gone through that? Yeah, it's true, especially at first, because when you first kind of get it, you get really excited. Oh my gosh, I can do this, I can manifest. And so what happens is that level of excitement puts you into a really high vibration. So a lot of people, when they really start to get it, they get really excited, they get in a really high vibration, and then they start to manifest lots of cool stuff. But over time, what will happen is there when you first learn about the law of attraction, you haven't gone through yet and reprogrammed a lot of beliefs. There's still a lot of clutter up there. And so some of those things will start to come out. And if you have something that doesn't work out for you, what will often happen is someone who's new at the law of attraction will say to themselves, "Oh, I'm losing my mojo. Oh, I'm not doing good anymore. I've lost my magic. It's gone away." And when you start to focus on it not working, then the results go down. Okay. So that's something that's very, very common. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is that, especially in the beginning, really it's more important to be focused on vibration than drawing in anything specific. Because vibration, you can manage that task. That's one job, to manage your vibration. And when you get up in a higher vibration, it's easier to manifest. Okay. All right. If you guys got questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. Again, today's topic is about pretending until it's real. And you do not want to be realistic. Being realistic is not a virtue. It's not. It doesn't make you better than everybody else to be realistic. It does not. What it does is it puts you on a hamster wheel where you continue to attract the same kind of stuff over and over and over again. And while that may be good at first if you have good things, over time, it causes stagnation. It causes boredom with your reality, and it will reduce your vibration over time. So being unrealistic, being a little delusional, living in a fantasy world is what actually propels your world further. It causes you to expand and to grow and to create the things that you actually want to create. Again, this is why people who are visionaries and who attract really crazy stuff, they're often seen as very eccentric, weird, delusional, kind of crazy. That's because they're not buying into the reality. They're looking forward. So today we're talking about how do you pretend like it's real. One of the easy ways, like I just mentioned, is to dress as if you already have it. That's an easy one. You don't need to change any beliefs at all. You just dress. All right. The next one that I have here is behaviors, acting as if. This is another one that's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you any change in your mindset. It's just replicating the behaviors of people who have what you want. Okay. We're trying to cultivate this sense of living in the land of make believe where I already have this thing. So if I'm dressed that way, that's one element of it. If I'm acting that way, that's another way of playing pretend. And so what you can do is you can study, again, study people who have the things that you want and notice how they're acting and behaving. Is there a certain way that they're carrying themselves? Is there a certain way that they talk? Certain language that they use, certain words that they use, phrases that they use? These are the things that you want to adopt and to play make believe with. Okay, so I've talked a lot on money. So I'm going to try to give some examples that aren't necessarily money because a lot of my videos will kind of go through this for you. But I was thinking about this today when I was at the gym. So some people have fitness goals. I know not this week because a lot of you guys would be celebrating Thanksgiving and we're putting our fitness plans on hold, right? But for the new year, a lot of people want to get into shape. And so they have these great aspirations. I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to, really hit those goals really quick. Well, as somebody who goes to the gym regularly, that first of the year, you can tell like easily who the elite athletes are versus the newbies. And a lot of it has to do not with how their muscles look, but how they behave when they walk into the gym. Okay. And so looking at behavior would give you a template. If you want to be successful with your fitness plans, I would suggest this. If you haven't really gone into a gym before, study the people that look like they know what they're doing and notice how they behave. So if you go into a gym, not a CrossFit gyms are a little different. Okay. I'm talking about a regular gym here. But at a regular gym, what you'll see is that the people who are in really the best shape tend to move a lot slower. They are not rushing around. They actually tend to take a little bit longer between sets. And they tend to have a very kind of confident demeanor about them when they're walking through the gym. People who are newer to the gym tend to move a little quicker. Okay. It tends to be something. There's not as much confident body language. They tend to rush around the gym a little bit more. Okay. When you watch them performing exercises, it's a lot quicker. All right. So that's something that you could pick up on. People who go to the gym regularly, they have kind of their own language. There's certain things that they say, there's certain things that they understand when they communicate with each other. Learn the language. You learn the rules of behavior, the rules of operation, the rules of etiquette. Okay. These are things that you want to do to start to pretend as if you already have the thing that you want. And the same is true with becoming wealthy. Okay. There's a certain way that wealthy people act, certain language that they use, certain rules of etiquette that they have. So you want to go through and notice those things and take those on. Play pretend. Because the more that you do that, the more you get into resonance with having that thing that you want. You start to think like that kind of person. You start to believe like that kind of person, and you start to have like that kind of person. All right. So that's the second thing that you want to do, to pretend as if it's real until you have it. General G Kai, pretend only in your mind, or can I tell people as if it's already real? Ooh, that kind of hits on one of my next points. I'm going to get to that one in a minute. Good question. Good question. The modern cubist. Good morning, dear Andrea. Love your talk. Always something to learn. I'm getting my Armani on. Okay, good. Yes, Armani. Dress as if you have it. Daisy Girl 7. Hi, friend. I'm trying to manifest something huge. I feel manifesting small things first would build confidence. Can you give us some ideas of smaller manifestations? Sure. So small dollar amounts are always good. $5, $10. I used to, like, when I first started, I like to try and manifest like little deals. Like if I go to a store, maybe something will be on sale. Maybe I'll get something half off. Not trying to make it happen, just put that out there. Let's see how many deals I can manifest, smaller things. You can manifest things that have nothing to do with anything you really care about. That's easy too. So manifesting things like people wearing red shirts, yellow cars on the road. Those are easy things. Okay. So anything really, if you're just trying to build your confidence, pick things that don't really elicit much desire or need out of you. Things that are very, very small. And then as you get going with that, you can start reaching a little higher and a little bit higher. But yes, starting small is always very helpful. Always very helpful. Oh, and of course, quick plug. If you guys have not yet, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me on Instagram. I do lives like this every week. At least I try to. I don't always hit Instagram every week, but I do try. So definitely follow along. And if you haven't already, please make sure to take my manifesting test. So Daisy Girl asked here something about manifesting small things. The manifesting test is also a really great way to apply that topic. If you haven't taken it yet, it's free. It's 5 minutes, and it will prove to you that you are the creator of your reality. Okay, so if you'd like the opportunity to try manifesting something and see it come back quickly, go ahead and try that test out. You can find that at manifestingtest.com. Again, that is manifestingtest.com. And my lovely assistant, Mary, has already plugged that in over on YouTube. And on Instagram, you can find the link for that on my bio if you are interested. Wendy, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Same with, oh, Nick, I missed you. Thank you, Nick, for the super sticker. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right. Again, today's topic is all about pretending until it's real. Okay, pretend until it's real. Remember, we need to be delusional. Pretending is a way of living in the delusional fantasy. Don't act like the kind of person that already has the kind of stuff that you currently have. You want to act as if you are the person that has what you actually want. You want to pretend. You want to live in the land of make believe. All right, so let's give the next suggestion here. Next suggestion, one of my favorites. And I want to give a number of examples for this. I've talked about this one a little bit, but it's so powerful. And I don't think a lot of people do it as much as they could. Okay. And that is to window shop and get around the things that you want. All right. So a lot of times, like the realistic mind will say, I can't go into that store because I can't afford that. I can't test drive that car because I can't afford that. I can't go look at that house because I can't afford. That's the realistic mind. But you want to pretend until it's real. So as much as you possibly can do, you want to do. I really encourage all of you guys to go as far as you possibly can without necessarily executing, if executing is actually not something you can actually do. So what I mean by this is, you could go so far. You could go online today when you get off of the live, and you could go look online for some stuff that you actually want. And as you're going through, you could physically put it into the cart. You see what I'm saying? Like you could go onto the fancy website and take all those beautiful clothes that you want and put them into a shopping cart online, get them all tallied up, go through the whole process of actually even putting in your name and your address and your credit card number. Just don't hit the purchase button, okay? Unless you really want to and you want to be daring. But that's an example of window shopping. Go through as much of the process as you can. All right. So go to the dealership. Don't just, lurk around in the parking lot. Talk to the sales guy. Take the car for a test drive. Take it as far as you possibly can. Okay. Now, this is great because what it's going to get you to do is resonate more in alignment with the kind of person who has the things that you want. All right. It's a very important thing to understand. A lot of times people say, I don't belong there. I can't go there. I can't do that. And when you do that, you rob yourself of the opportunity to be in vibration with the things that you actually already can do, which are consider, test drive, try on, reflect, look at, touch, talk about. You're robbing yourself of that opportunity. Okay. So this was something that when I first learned about the law of attraction, I actually did quite a bit and I did it with homes because I didn't like where I lived at the time, like at all. Okay. So I would go find fancy neighborhoods and I would drive around through them. I would walk through the houses. I'd go to the open houses. I would talk to the real estate agent, like just for kicks, just for fun. All right. I had no intention of buying a house, but pretty quickly I got out of the house that I didn't like and into a better one. And then a few years later, I got out of that house into this house, which I really love. And a lot of it came from just stepping into that resonance of pretending I was that person. You guys are going to find that as you kind of walk that path of just kind of going down the path, a lot of times things will just line up for you to allow you to do them. Because what you're saying to the universe is, I'm the kind of person who could have this job or have these kinds of friends or go to these kinds of places or buy these kinds of things. That's the message you put out when you go window shopping. like that. Okay, so that's a really great way to pretend as if it is real. All right, take some more questions here. Rainbow traveling. I was just having the conversation about being realistic with my SP spouse, specific person. It was mildly frustrating. They don't have to get it. Do you guys have that experience where you are in delusional land, but your partner or a friend or somebody else is like, "What's wrong with you?" It's a compliment, okay? It's a compliment if they think there's something wrong with you. Someone calling you delusional is a compliment. Lay 11 late. You love renting. I feel so free by renting. I'm glad you brought that up about the renting question. I was thinking the same thing too. Like renting is freedom, right? Maddie just got the entrepreneur fast lane and you love it. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Maddie. I'm glad you like the program. Thanks so much for signing up. Mickey D, I'm divorcing my husband. I need to wait until I'm making my own steady money. It could be a few years. I work really hard now and have a business idea I'm starting. How can I not be in lack? You need to wait until you're making your own steady money. It could be a few years. I work really hard now. Focusing on what you have, Mickey. Don't think of it as waiting. Think of it as I'm doing this now. I'm on the path of doing this. So you started off good. I'm divorcing my husband. Okay, stay with that. Don't say, "Oh, I'm waiting." I'm divorcing. I'm in the process of doing that because what that will do is that will allow that process to ramp up. Okay. I'm building steady money. I'm building a business. Okay. Rather than I have to wait and we don't want you to feel like you have to work really hard. I'm enjoying this process. I'm enjoying making money. Okay. We don't want to introduce resistance with the topic of working hard. So a lot of it's semantics, but you start off good. I'm divorcing my husband. I'm not sure if that's what you want, but that's what you want. That's the way you want to phrase it. I'm doing this now. When you say it that way, it happens quicker. Okay. We don't want to put into the waiting vibration. Jenny, hi Andrea. I've been following you for 6 months and gained 60,000 from other people's money since. Thank you. So thank you. How do I manifest a job for my husband and I in the same city by a specific time? Ooh, well, 60,000, pretty good. Good job. So, what it sounds like you're asking me here feels as if to you it seems like a tall order because you used all cap locks. Same city by a specific time. So, when I see that, that usually means, okay, this is a deadline. I need this to happen. Okay. So that's going to be resistance. So we need to let go of that. And we want to start to focus on, I don't know where you and your husband are, if you're, do you live in the same place or not? But the main idea is if there's something that you want by a specific time, you have to get over the specific time to get it by the specific time. You have to be okay. Well, it takes forever. That's fine. It'll work out when it works out. And the advice I always like to give for this is if it doesn't happen by the specific time, why would that be a good thing? Okay. So, what I mean by that is you want to play devil's advocate with yourself to the point where you are so okay with blowing past that deadline. You actually hope that you blow past that deadline because when you put off that energy, I don't even want it by then you'll get it. Okay. So it's like the example of the boyfriend who you can't get him to settle down with you. He keeps running off. And the minute you're like, you know what? I don't even want him anymore. Boom. There he is. He's ready. Okay. That's the energy you want to play with. Okay. So deadlines are all about releasing the idea that you even need the deadline and actually convincing yourself you don't even want it by the deadline. The thing about that is though, is that when it comes, you're going to be like, oh, now I don't even really want it now. But it gets the job done. So that's what I recommend for that. Cowlets, but you've been wearing the white running shoes? Ah, just keep washing them off. All right, guys. Today, again, our topic is pretend until it's real. Stop being realistic. Okay. You want to be delusional. Delusional is good. Everyone who tells you that it's good and virtuous to be realistic, you don't want to listen to them. Okay. And by the way, most people you don't want to listen to anyway. Most people are not manifesting on the level that you want to be manifesting. Okay. So if a lot of people, this little side note, if a lot of people are giving you the same advice, it's generally best not to take that advice because that's realistic advice that's going to keep you stuck where you're at. Just my 2 cents on that. All right. So you want to be a little delusional. You want to pretend as if you already have what it is that you want. And this is what's going to get you to step into the vibration of having because you start to think like that kind of person. You start to behave like that kind of person. You start to adopt that person's beliefs and their habits, their expectations, starts to rub off on you. All right. So for our next, we had a question over here about telling people. Someone asked me about this. Oh, let's see if I can find it. Okay, so it's General G Kai. Pretend only in your mind, or can I tell people as if it's already real? So sometimes I get questions like this, like, am I supposed to hold, don't tell anybody about it, wait for it to happen, or do I tell them in advance? All right, so the one thing about telling people is that if you don't believe that it's real and you start telling people about it, it's pretty likely that you're going to start to think about it in terms of lack. Okay. Unless you're in a really optimistic state. Like if you're in a really great state, you can tell people, I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting that. That's great. But if you're not in that top peak position, telling people, oh, I'm manifesting $1 million. Oh, I'm manifesting a dream career, and you don't really feel it, you'll actually be practicing lack when you talk about it. But there is a way to talk that is helpful. Okay. And so that kind of leads into the next point that I have here. So I want to kind of clear that up before I talk about this. So I talked to you guys a moment ago about window shopping. Okay. And also I've talked about studying people and mirroring their behavior. One thing you can talk about is very helpful is to talk about these experiences with other people. So let's say, for example, that you want to manifest a beautiful new home and you did what I said, which is like go to the open houses, go to the nice real estate areas, talk to the real estate agents, going and doing those activities, talk to other people about them. So next time you're hanging out with your friends, oh, I just went to this beautiful open house for this $1 million home and tell them everything about it. Okay. Oh, I just went to the Rolex store and tried on a Rolex the other day. Tell them all about it because those things are true. Those things actually happened. You actually know that you did those things and they will conjure back up you doing those things. And it'll put you in a state of familiarity with the topic and a state of familiarity with talking on the subject. One of the things that's one of the biggest impediments from people getting from where they are to where they want to be is where they want to be is so unfamiliar to them. Unfamiliar. So, for instance, before I learned about the law of attraction, I mentioned this at nauseum. I did not have money. I didn't grow up with money. I grew up with very cheap and frugal parents. I did not know what valet parking was until I was probably 25. I didn't even know what a five-star hotel would look like. I had no clue. I didn't know anything about these kinds of people. I didn't understand anything about wealthy people that I hadn't seen directly on a television program. That was it. And so when you go from being broke, like I was, and wanting to attract money, that's one of the biggest impediments is that you just don't understand. You're not familiar with that vibration. And so all of the things that we're talking about here are about helping you develop familiarity with that vibration so that you understand what it means to be wealthy. You know what it feels like to think like somebody who has the job that you want or has the body that you want. You get that because you're practicing that and pretending that. And so talking to people is a great idea. But I like this specific way of doing it is that all of these things that you're noticing, well, I was watching some wealthy people the other day and they were doing this and telling people about it. Because what it does is it reinforces in your mind, this is what it means to be wealthy. And not only that, or this is what it means to have the things that I want, but also I am that kind of person. I know this kind of stuff. I get this kind of life. I can talk on this kind of subject. Okay. It's kind of like if you go to a new country, at first it's really awkward because you don't know the customs, but over time, you start to fit in more because you know how to talk to the people, the languages to use, the behaviors to have. The more you practice it, the more you become that kind of person. So talking to others is great, but talk on these experiences. I especially like talking with other people about your window shopping experiences. Really, really great way for you to pretend as if it's real because you're talking on the subject and you're talking about trying it on. You're talking about going through the process. You're doing that. Okay. It's another really great way to pretend until it is real. Passive income suite. How do I manifest when bills are smacking me in the face? Business is slow, but it's hard to act excited when you're getting debt collection calls all day, emails and texts. I'm 50,000 in debt right now. Well, first things first, that's about how much debt I was in when when I got married, so you could do it. Um, how do I manifest a builder smacking me in the face? Business is slow. So the big thing is you want to start to focus on having rather than not having, realizing that the more that you're frustrated with this process, the more that this is going to occur. So the thing about the bills, you want to try and put those away as much as possible and not attend to them as much as possible. I know that they're there, they need to be paid, but you pay them when you can pay them, but don't be shuffling through them all the time and like looking at them all the time. It's a really bad habit that a lot of people have who are dealing with bills or like debts. And a lot of us learn this as kids is like to just kind of keep them in a pile and you keep looking through them. Like, which one am I going to pay? You don't want to do that. Okay. Find a place when a bill comes in, just put them away and pay them at a certain time. So for me, one of the first things that I did was like I picked a specific time that I was going to pay the bills. I like to do them all once a month. So I'm not paying bills all the time. Some people like to do it where they have the automatic payment go. If you're not in that stage where you can do that, that's okay. But that's a good way to do it too, is to get the idea of me paying bills off the table as much as possible. So I only like to pay bills, like I said, once a month because only once a month do I think about money going out. By contrast, every single day, twice a day, not just once a day, twice a day, I sit down and I tally up how much money I've made. So you have a business. This is a good suggestion for those of you in business. Every day, be jotting down, okay, well, I got $10 in, I got 1,000 in, whatever. Tally it up. And the only reason that I'm tallying it up by it's not for records. This is just a journal that I keep. The reason why I do that is that every day I'm focusing on money in, money in, money in, money in. So more money is coming in. And only one time a month, I'm focusing on money out. So my business, a lot of money comes in, not that much money goes out. Okay. So that's a really great suggestion for that. And then also I've got the debt course, money mastery. Mary, if you want to drop that into the chat, that'd be helpful. If you're interested, I do have a debt program that can be helpful. Mallory, how do I get my body out of fight or flight when I'm trying to manifest? I will be in a delusional mindset, but it's like my body knows I'm not. I will have anxiety, adrenaline rush, fast heartbeat. Oh, yeah, okay. So here's the thing. We don't have to try to manifest. That's the big thing. So for manifestation, what you're doing really is you're putting out this is what I want. That's it. This is what I want. And then as much as possible, we're trying to behave kind of as if we have it and going through all that, but we're not actually trying to make it come. This is the important distinction. It's not your job to pull the manifestation out of thin air. It's your job just to project the message and let it show up. Okay. So, this is something a lot of people struggle with at first because when we're learning about the law of attraction, most of us are transitioning from I got to make it happen to I got to let it happen. That's the big jump that you got to make to become a really good manifester is you go from being I got to make it happen to I'm going to let it happen. So for this what I would say is whenever you're feeling that, you got one job. Stop put down trying to manifest altogether. Put it away. And realize that you have one job. And the one job is I'm just going to work on my vibration. That's it. Okay, so I always do recommend this. This is called and I have to do it too if I start getting keyed up as I go back to basics. If you guys ever get into a space where you're starting to feel frustrated, you're starting to feel stressed, you're starting to manifest things that you don't want, things aren't going your way. Okay, stop. Stop what you're doing. I got one job. And my job is to work on my vibration right now. That's it. So what I mean by that is just stop whatever it is that you're doing and ask yourself, what could I be doing right now, realistically, not delusionally, realistically this time? What could I realistically do right now that would feel better than what I'm doing? Okay, so maybe I'm journaling furiously, trying to make something happen. Well, this is not making me feel good. What would feel better? Well, I'd rather go watch TikToks. Go watch TikToks. I'd rather call my mom. Call your mom. I'd rather go eat a sandwich. Go eat a sandwich. Do that. Okay. So, what you're really doing is we're trying to train ourselves to constantly be following the flow. Okay. So, we put a dream out. Okay. And then, depending on where we're moving, how we're behaving, how we're acting, we're either going to get warmer and closer to that dream or colder and farther away. So when you feel good, that's the universe saying warmer, warmer, you're getting closer, hot, hot, hot. When you feel stressed, it's the universe telling you colder, colder, you're getting further away. Stop what you're doing. Okay. So what's going on there is you're getting the guidance, you're just not following it. The guidance is saying stop doing what you're doing, go do something that feels better. That's it. If you guys have questions, feel free to go ahead and drop them into the chat. King Farida 777. I know I want to attract a lot of money, but I don't know what career to choose, how to act as if I don't know what I want to do. Okay, well you do know what you want. You want to find the thing that you want. Okay, so that's the first thing. I think that gets the path to God, something just made me think of this. There's this tendency to okay, I need to be at the destination and I'm not appreciating the journey that gets in the way. And this right here is one of those examples. Okay. I want to manifest a wonderful career, but I don't know what that is yet. So I'm doing something wrong and I'm not having fun. And my vibration is going down about this, which is pushing out the outcome. Instead, what you want to do is say, I am on the path of finding an exciting new job, which means that I am currently on a journey. I'm currently in an exciting situation. So now I'm enjoying the process of it unfolding and I'm validating that what I'm doing right now is working for me, which allows it to line up quicker. It's a big thing with the law of attraction is that we want to get away from the destination. Like, I need the destination to be here in order to be happy, because if it's not here yet, I can't be happy. And if I can't be happy, I can't get to the destination. So instead, whenever you have that kind of thing, what's the journey right now that I'm on? Well, this is exciting. And it is. Because what will happen is you will manifest that career at some point. And you're going to look back on this time of your life and say, wow, that was really cool. I was on that journey. Okay. So, like, I didn't always do this. Before I did this, I was in the same position as you. I wanted a job, a new career, but I didn't know what it was. Now I can look back and I can say, well, that was a really fun time when that all worked itself out. Okay. So, validate that where you're at in the process right now is fun and it's exciting and it's an adventure, and you'll get quicker results and you'll have fun along the way. Oh, okay. Got a lot of supers here. Thank you, Carlton, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Got a couple of super chats here. One from Peace and one from Tarun. I'll answer these real quick. Peace asks, Dear Andrea, how can you be more motivated to exercise? Is your superior fitness manifestation program good for that? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so the that particular program really does kind of key into cultivating fitness through joy. So there's not one particular way to get really, really fit. This is a misconception. I think a lot of people think there's a very specific way that you need to exercise or that you need to diet in order to get into shape. This program is really more about finding that joy and doing it in the way that you like to do it. And so it doesn't really require you to do it in a specific way. So I do focus a lot on showing you and training you how to cultivate that kind of awareness about where your guidance is pushing you. Okay. And getting in alignment with that so that you can get great results. I get so many questions about my fitness. I know you guys only see me kind of as a talking head, but I do work out a lot. So I'm in really good shape. So I get lots of questions about, are you a bodybuilder? Are you a professional athlete? And I'm not. Okay. I absolutely am not. Um, but the reason why I do so well physically is because I love what I'm doing. Okay. And so, and it's not, you don't have to work out the way I work out. What's important is that you love what you're doing physically. Okay. So that's really the key. Okay. So motivated to exercise. The cliff notes, the short version is look for exercise that you really want to do. That's a big part of it. Because you don't like gyms, don't be going to a gym. Okay. Think about what would actually be a lot more fun for you. Because if you find something that is fun for you to do, you're going to be very invested in it. You're going to want to have fun with it. And then it's a joy. And when it's a joy, when you're doing the activity, you get more results. Okay. That's a very important thing to understand. Don't just follow the herd and do what they're all doing. Tarun asks, how to manifest more sales in an online business? Well, one of the suggestions I gave earlier is good for that. Okay, so jotting down the sales that you have every day. I said I do it twice a day. Twice a day. Sometimes I get lazy and do it once a day, and then I don't make as much money. So, and the reason why that's important is that you're focusing on money coming in, money coming in, money coming in. The other big thing is to appreciate the sales that are coming in. So, like, when sales come in to me, like when you guys buy my courses or you sign up for my membership program or any of that stuff, when I see those sales come in, I take a moment. I'm like, oh, thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. And I will sit there and, like, thank you, be appreciative of every single customer that comes through the door as much as you can, because what you appreciate grows. Okay. And not only that, but it's like an energetic exchange. And the more you appreciate your customers, the more they're going to want to do business with you. Okay. And it's just a nice thing to do. So that's the big thing. Most people, especially when they're kind of still getting off the ground with the sales, what they're focused on is, I haven't hit my target yet. I'm not making as much money as I want. And so when that happens, the message is there's not enough, not enough, not enough. And so reality will show you not enough, not enough, not enough. Okay. So you want to focus on what is coming in, appreciate it, write it down, focus on it as much as possible. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. I was wondering what that was. Sexy fit shit. You did that with the checking out 3,000 worth of clothes and screenshotted it. That's even better. Okay, so I like that. I'm gonna tell everybody else. So what she did was, remember I was talking about you can window shop and you can go through the whole process of, like, buying things all the way to the end. So she went online and purchased like $3,000 worth of clothes, got all the way to the end, but screenshot it, the end result. You could take that screenshot and slap it on a desktop computer. You could slap it on as your screensaver, like to remind you, I can check out. I can go all the way through the checkout purchase process with $3,000 worth of clothes. I like that. And thanks for the shout out for Entrepreneur Fastlane. Appreciate you. Javidesha, question. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. I'm sorry. Question. How to boost your vibration, especially after something negative happened and you can't get it out of your head? Thank you. Good question. So it's okay for me to think about this as long as I want to. Don't try to force yourself not to think about anything. It's okay for me to think this as long as I want to, is the mantra I always use. Or it's okay for me to feel this way as long as I want to. The reason why is, again, what we resist persists. I can't think this thought. I can't remember this. I can't be focused on this. Keeps it very active. So instead, you want to say, I'm allowed to think this way as long as I want to. I'm allowed to feel this way as long as I want to. So we loosen the grip and we validate that where we're at, it's okay to be at. Okay. That will reduce the resistance. And the second part of that, for as long as I want to, is important. I put that in there. I'm allowed to think this way as long as I want to, because what that does is it subconsciously reminds you that I don't actually want to be thinking this. Okay. Which makes it easier because the resistance is kind of released. It's then easier to back away. Okay. So whenever I have a subject that pops up that I don't want to be thinking about, I'm allowed to think this way as long as I want to. And I'll just keep telling myself that until I feel a little better. And then I go do something else. Simple. Okay. The other thing is, if it's something really negative, I like to try and find the power in that. Well, I'm really going to get something good out of this. This is going to teach me something amazing. Or I'm going to become a stronger person because of this. Something good is going to come. I'm going to make sure something good comes out of this. Okay. That way, it's not just this was this terrible event and only a bad thing happened from it, but rather something good is going to come out of this. See, sometimes you see this with people who are grieving, like people who lost a child and they got to get through that. And that's a tall order. But then they go and they start some kind of a foundation or they do something in their child's name. Okay. That's that kind of energy. I'm going to make something good come out of this. All right. That's the second part of it. Alina. Andrea, help. My daughter is doing worse at school. Her grades are dropping and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make her understand that she needs to learn. I love this question. I love this question. So I got two kids. One's in middle school and one's in high school. So Alina, I don't know what corner of the earth you're in, but where I live, in high school, grades matter. Meaning, if you want to get to college, they're going to look at your transcripts for your high school grades. And so maybe you're in that position, maybe not. But I know that as I was raised in a home where you better get good grades. Okay. I was raised with that mentality. And so my parents, I would get punished if I did not get good grades. And so it was very much in my head that you need to have good grades and that when my kids are going to be in high school especially, those grades better be good. Okay? That was how I was prior to learning this kind of information. Today it's very different. And so I want to kind of share with you my philosophy on this real quick because I think it will help. All right. With the first thing is it does not matter what the grades are because your daughter can be successful with or without the grades. So that's something you kind of want to grab onto. There are a lot of people who are making a lot of money and who are very successful who didn't even graduate high school. Okay. And there are a lot of people who went to really fancy schools and never amounted to nothing. So the grades are not important to her future success. What is important to her future success is that she's in alignment with success. And what that means is she's in the flow doing the things that bring her the highest joy, that she is the most engaged with, that allow her to get the most results with. Okay. So that's kind of the mentality that I take with my children now, which is that, okay, they are learning to become the people they're going to be. So maybe she's really not into math, but she's really into music. Great. That's taking her in the path she needs to be. That's kind of the first thing. Um, the second thing that I like to do with my kids, because sometimes it does pop up where I'm like, oh, the grades are important. Recognizing that if she does terribly in school this year or gets a bad grade, she's learning something for later. So, what I mean by that is if a kid just gets perfect grades from the beginning to the end of school, there's nothing really that they've learned about how to manage a negative situation regarding that in the future. But if my child struggles a little bit with school now, when they get into a more advanced program, they're going to remember, oh, yeah, I got to keep up with my work this time. Oh, yeah, I should have done it that way last time because they stumbled and fell a few times. So, like, if you think of like a child when they're learning to walk, the child doesn't just pop on up and start walking and running. No, they get up, they fall down, they get up, they fall down, they fall down. And the falling down is what teaches them how to walk. So when my child brings home a bad grade, I look at it that way. Well, they're learning how to do it better next time. Get it? So we don't want to push it. Again, you want your daughter to be successful. Well, then focus on what's actually going to create success. It's not the grades, it's that she's in alignment. Okay. That's the big thing. And then also, if she stumbles, she's learning how to become a better student. She's learning what she needs to do to do better next time. Okay. And then also, when she has brings home a good grade, rejoice in it. And also really start to dial in on how is she responsible? What ways is she responsible and she's doing the things that are good for her to be doing, and then telling her that I love how responsible you are with making your bed, you're really responsible with getting off to school every day, and kind of affirming to her that she's a responsible kid, she does well, she does what she's supposed to do. Those things are very successful in getting good grades with very little effort on your part. And I know because my kids get great grades and I'm really don't do anything to help them. They're just doing it. All right, guys, a little bit of housekeeping because I love housekeeping. If you guys are enjoying this live, quick reminder here to let you know that I do have a membership program I haven't talked about in a while. And so I do have a membership program where I've got tons of shorter tutorials, like 15 to 30 minutes on a whole range of topics, including abundance, career, relationship, fitness, weight loss, you name it. And so that particular membership program has is about 300 resources at this point, and I do add more content each and every month. So if you're interested in taking a look at that, I know my lovely assistant Mary will be dropping a link to that in the chat. She has already done that on YouTube. On Instagram, if you're interested in learning about my membership program, you can go again to the link in my bio and check it out. There's an informational video there, and you can see if it's a good fit for you. Also, another quick reminder, if you haven't yet, again, subscribe and follow me on Instagram. We have Thanksgiving week coming up here in the United States. And so I usually go on Thursdays, but Thursdays is Thanksgiving. So I won't be here on Thursday, but I will be back next Sunday. So a week from today. And I'll be again on YouTube as well as Instagram. So please make sure to check back and follow me along. Let me see if I can take another question. I got a little bit more gas in the tank, and we got some more questions here. Vibration, elevation, sounds. What are your top tips to get into alignment in order to manifest great ideas in general? Oh, I love that question. I like manifesting ideas. That's like one of my favorite things is getting inspiration, things to try, things to do. We had a question about career, what kind of career to do, that kind of stuff. You don't know what you want, or how do I get that? Okay. So for me, the recipe is pretty simple. I get lots of great inspiration from this, lots of great ideas, lots of great answers to questions. I just kind of put it out as a question to the universe in a high vibrational time. For me, I like to do it a lot when I'm in the shower. I don't know why. The shower is usually good. And usually in the shower, you're in a good mood. But if you're in a really great place, okay, vibrationally, just ask. I would like a great idea for my business. I would like some great career ideas. I would like to find a good recipe to make for dinner tomorrow. And little things too. You can doesn't have to be big stuff. Practicing it with smaller stuff. Like I'd like to think of something smart to say at the next business meeting. Like put those kinds of things out there and then just leave them alone. Okay? Just throw them out there and leave them alone. And they come back whenever they come back. Okay, so I've noticed that a lot of times I'll put these questions out and then they just kind of come back when I'm in another peak mood. So maybe I'm at the gym and I'm having a great set and boom, an idea will come to me. So for that, what I recommend, start with some of the smaller things might be helpful if that's a new concept to you. I'd like a great recipe to try for dinner. I like to great outfit. Think of a great outfit to wear for that party I'm going to go to. Put that out and just ask universe, give me an idea and then let it go. Don't try and look for it. Don't try and think on it. Just let it and let it come back when it comes back. Okay? When it comes back, this is what's important about getting into vibration with doing this as an ongoing habit. When it comes back, thank you. That's a great idea. Appreciate. Thank you for helping me manifest this great idea. Thank you. Okay? Because what that puts you in resonance with is I manifest great ideas, I manifest great ideas, I manifest great ideas. You can ramp that up to where like if there's pretty much anything I want to know how to do or learn or experience, I'll just throw it out there now because I know it will come back. And a lot of that's because every time it comes back, I appreciate it. Okay. Hope that's helpful. Yeah. It's like your own version of Chat GPT. Yes, exactly. All right, guys. Again, I'll be back next Sunday. But that is going to do it for today's live. Thanks so much for joining along with me. It's been nice seeing you guys. And of course, I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. All right. Bye bye.